Oh, back on the subject of the long goodbye, our terminal circumstances, the civilization's terminal disease. It's an inevitable march towards the brick wall at 900 miles an hour. And the question of whether there is a survival strategy, whether there's a loss minimization strategy, reduce the injury strategy, an airbag strategy. I mean, any kind of get out of this doom scenario strategy. Where the hell are we going, and how bad is it going to be, and whether we can do anything about it? Okay. Lots of videos this morning on the subject. Good. It's good that people... Nick's basically just arguing that, yeah, people need it rubbed in their face. There needs to be, people have to get a little hysterical. They have to get, sort of into the, henny penny catastrophe mode, or nothing's going to change. And then others talk about, yes, there's some, well, no need to panic. There are ways out. We don't have to, exterminate 3/4 of the population to survive into the future. We don't have to get draconian or anything like that. But the truth is that we probably do, but we have to do it voluntarily. We have to draconianly change our expectations. Draconianly start kicking some people in the ass. I'm not saying kill anybody. I'm just saying there's two assholes in this equation for me. There's poor assholes, ignorant motherfucking bastards who just keep on perpetuating insanity. Keep on, they're desperate, they're fucking living shitty lives, and yet they say, I'm going to have a kid so he can live out the rest of my shitty life forever too. So he can perpetuate and make eternal the humiliation that is my existence. And then on the other extreme you have the rich motherfuckers who just get more and more eccentric, more and more bizarre in their capacity to basically eat human beings. I mean, they just sit around and gorge themselves, and with every mouthful they are consuming people. I mean, Dendrophilian even did a video, I'll link to it, where he made the simple argument, yes, we are murderers, okay? We can call ourselves something else, but we murder with our gluttony. We accept it. I've talked about it before. We just make it all acceptable. It doesn't matter how ludicrous this system could get. We're always going to sit there and say it's acceptable. We keep doing it. It's obvious. It doesn't matter. 10 million people died in the Holocaust or 400 million people. It wouldn't fucking goddamn matter, because we would just raise the acceptable bar. We would just say that's acceptable. That's acceptable. Okay, if we invent a new disease, it's going to be acceptable. We'll learn how to live with it. Accept a new imposition, a new burden for the human organism to carry through life. It will be declared acceptable. Doesn't matter what the fuck you pile on, because people will just keep their eyes, as I have said, their eyes are always looking for the goddamn cheese. They can't see anything else. They are prisoners of the motherfucking maze. They're prisoners of the game. And they won't even take the 5 minutes to pause once in a while and say, what the fuck is going on? What system am I a pawn in? What game am I just being manipulated through? Where do I have to take some responsibility for my interaction in this nonsense, for the crap that I perpetuate? Not only because I won't open my mouth and say stop to anybody else, but I won't even say it to myself. And so, yeah, as individuals, we do these little things. I mean, I've done little things. Yeah, I became a vegetarian. I write. I just rant on YouTube videos. Okay, little things. I try to harass my local government. I try to do whatever I can, some little subtle, stupid ways to somehow attempt to make some change, and a lot of it's just futile bullshit. But the bottom line is there is a strategy. I think change is possible. But we have to recognize what the problems are, and people won't even do that rationally. And so we have this argument with the anarchists and the rest of them. We got these two sides. We got these anarchists, and we got these back to naturists, and this other crap, and it's just all this wasted passion. There's plenty of people pissed off. There's plenty of people who know something is wrong, okay? And all they have to do is be moving in the same direction for there to be change. But they're not moving in the same direction. They're going in 5 million different directions. So I'll just quickly, bash the fucking libertarians, the fucking anarchists, the assholes, okay? All they're doing is exactly what the fucking rich capitalists want. They're just feeding that capitalist machine. They're saying, oh yeah, well, they're going to let me grow pot in my backyard, so I'll go ahead and give them the keys to the government. I'll give them the keys to everything, okay? They win. They'll get everything they want. Their perpetual their monarchy will be secured because I'll be able to grow marijuana in my backyard. And so they call themselves a libertarian. And all they're for is legacy wealth. All they're for is people to be born with a silver spoon in their goddamn mouth. All they're for is the creation of the George Bush of the world, the Hiltons of the world, the bullshit of the world, the lazy, useless crap. I mean, they're worse than poor people. They're worse. They are poor people driving tanks. I mean, they're idiots driving tanks. These poor people are only pushing carts. They can only do so much damage with their stupid carts. But we're giving the keys to, the Queen Mary to fucking idiots. And then we complain because they crashed the boat, It's a joke. But anyway, so fuck the libertarians, fuck the anarchists, and fuck the back to naturists. You're all just a waste of fucking you're just wasted passion. You're just no fucking use to this. Because you're all advocating an under-engineered system. That's the flaw now, Bella, the happy loser. To get to her now, and her complaint about democracy. No, what's broken about democracy is nobody's getting paid to fix it, okay? It's a completely unengineered system. And that's the problem with capitalism. There are things in life and in the reality that no one's going to be able to get paid to do. And so we collectively have to pay somebody to fix these systems for us, because there's not going to be any capitalist interest in doing it. And the democracy is one of them. We didn't hire the whatever, the Einstein of today to look at the system and create a system that creates a completely fair fight. We haven't analyzed the rules and done anything to create the fair fight. We haven't spent as much time on our democracy and the rules of our democracy as they have spent on defining the rules for fucking baseball games. I mean, that's how ludicrous this is. And then we complain because it doesn't work. Well, fucking of course it doesn't fucking work, because it hasn't been engineered to work. It's been engineered by people wanting to manipulate the system, just as the email system was engineered by people whose some of them had even admirable goals, but there was no balance. There was no check and balance against the flaws, against the holes, against the gaps. That wasn't the priority. The priority was just getting something that worked. And once it worked just even a little bit, just adequately, all of a sudden it became the standard. And you couldn't break from the standard, because there was no force to say, no, we got to do it better than that, and to impose a new standard. And so that became it. And everything was built on top of this piece of garbage infrastructure. And now we're in the same position. We have a whole fucking economy, a whole fucking world built on a sloppy infrastructure, a sloppy democracy, a sloppy model for democracy. And it certainly can be fixed. And so, okay, the to-be fixed things. How do we get, number one, how do we get these people I just called idiots to understand that we have to somehow we have to gravitate in one direction. We have to collectively take our anger at the current shit and turn it into constructive progress. We have to be moving in the same fucking direction. And then beyond that, how do we motivate all the other people who aren't happy with the system but are just too lazy and too disinterested to pay any attention? That's the other problem. The people who will always find it acceptable, doesn't matter what tyranny they live under. It's fine, I'll just adapt to that new tyranny. I'll adapt to that new brokenness, that new efficiency. And yes, I'm not even going to think about when I buy something at Walmart whether I'm employing, 10-year-old kids in China or not. It's not going to be my worry. I'm not going to worry about how many people I'm consuming, when I eat my dinner. And yeah, so how do we motivate people to change? I mean, that's the other big question, and that one's been rolling around in my head forever. And obviously there's demonstrations. I mean, people can lie down in front of tanks. You know, they did that in China. And it worked for about 2 weeks, and then it was over, and then it all just vanished from our minds. I'd say in Vietnam it sort of worked. I mean, you go out on the sidewalk, pour a can of gasoline on yourself, and set yourself on fire, and people start paying attention. And so maybe somebody on YouTube is going to have to pour a can of gas on their head and set themselves on fire, and they might get as much attention as Two Girls in a Cup. They might. It's you know, it's probably doubtful, but you know, it might happen. And so yeah, I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know how it's going to happen, but there will have to be. It's going to have to happen. There's going to have to be some force, something that people can, you know, all of a sudden pay attention and realize that the real key here is everything is under-engineered.